and check the facts with Salvador Rizzo. He's a reporter for the Washington Post. He is a fact checker. Good morning. Good to see you. Thanks for being with us.
Great to be with you.
Okay, so let's start with President Trump's statements on the economy. Here's what he had to say.
The U.S. economy is growing almost twice as fast today as when I took office, and we are considered far and away the hottest economy anywhere in the world. Not even close.
Is he right?
Well, he's accurate, but it's sort of a meaningless statistic when you're talking about the most recent quarter for GDP growth. I mean, he's literally taking one snapshot and comparing it to the first quarter from when he was president. But since the end of the Great Recession, what you've seen is sort of, choppy growth that steadily has been rising, but sometimes, goes into negative territory and then goes up and down, up and down. So a more comprehensive look at GDP growth would show that his average so far is about 2.8% per quarter, whereas President Barack Obama, over 8 years, his average was 2.1, so not very different.
Okay. The president, no real surprise, spoke a lot about the border and about the threats at the southern border. Here's what he had to say.
The lawless state of our southern border is a threat to the safety, security, and financial well-being of all America. We have a moral duty to create an immigration system that protects the lives and jobs of our citizens.
Is it possible, Salvador, to get a real assessment of what is happening at the border?
Yes, it is. We have reporters who have been down there. There are all kinds of organizations, immigrant rights groups, who are down there and giving, real-time feedback of what the conditions are like. So this is, it's mostly Central American refugees, asylum seekers who are fleeing violence or poverty, extreme poverty in their home countries, and trying to gain entry into the United States. This is a much different dynamic from the kind of immigration that you saw around the years from 1990 to 2000, for example, where you would have a lot of people from Mexico, single men, not necessarily families, attempting to gain entry. And so if you compare the year 2000, 1.6 million border apprehensions, to the year 2017, 306,000, that's a 81.5% decline. And when the president talks about a security crisis at the border or a national security crisis, these numbers really belie that line.
Okay, he talked about El Paso, and he said that walls have worked. Let's play that sound.
The border city of El Paso, Texas, used to have extremely high rates of violent crime, one of the highest in the entire country, and considered one of our nation's most dangerous cities. Now, immediately upon its building, with a powerful barrier in place, El Paso is one of the safest cities in our country.
So what about the rates of crime in El Paso, Salvador?
The way that he is phrasing this line, it would seem like a great selling point for a wall, but he does stray into false territory in those remarks, because he says that El Paso was one of the most dangerous cities before this barrier was built. This barrier was built around mid-2008. El Paso was actually rated one of America's safest cities in 2005, 2006, and 2007. So it's just not adding up the way he's framing it.
Okay, and finally, we got the Democratic response from Stacey Abrams, and she said that the Republican tax bill basically rigs the system against working people. She said that plants really are closing and there are more layoffs and people are not able to keep up with the cost of living. What are the facts around her comments, Salvador?
Studies show that the Republican tax cut that the president signed in December 2017, that is geared mostly toward benefiting wealthy individuals and corporations, if you just take the numbers. Stacey Abrams goes on to say, that plants are closing and layoffs are looming, which, some plants somewhere are closing. But, you know, as a general matter, manufacturing establishments, the total number has been steadily increasing since 2013. So I would rate that as misleading when she says plants are closing.
Salvador Rizzo with The Washington Post. Thanks so much.